Okay, this is the latest burn machine. It's good for timbers up to 18 inches by 18 inches. This piece we have on the end here that looks like a half moon is to rotate the timber 90 degrees and bring it back through. This particular burn machine, the burn heads, can go up and down to accommodate different timber sizes. And it can also go forward and reverse. So I'm going to walk through a little bit here and then we're going to run a couple of pieces. So what we have, and some of this is just temporary on the turn mechanism, it's a prototype. So we start out here, this is the discharge end. It's got an emergency stop. It's got an air hose for the air knife. The red lines up above are for propane and air. This long black hose that comes down and around goes to a blower. That blower is for combustion air. You can see here there's a manifold. The manifold has 4 valves on it. There's 4 burners. We can operate the burners independently. The little red device right there is a pressure regulator that takes the propane line, in this case, directly off the top of a tank. There's no regulator on the top of that tank. So all the pressure is regulated right there in that pressure regulator. And there's an electrically operated solenoid valve there. That valve turns the gas on and off in the event you hit E-stop. Down below we have 4 variable frequency drives. The first one, let's move over here. The first one is for combustion air. We can vary the amount of air that goes in with the propane to modify the intensity of the flame. We have cooling air. That's air to keep the bearings and rollers from getting too warm. We have an inverter there for up and down. That's for raising and lowering the burner heads. And the last one is for conveyor speed. A couple of relays on the bottom for power and E-stop and gas valve. And as you can see, it still needs to be cleaned up just a little bit. Neither here nor there. So here we have a power on switch. We have conveyor on and off. We have a control for the conveyor speed. We can run the conveyor in forward and reverse. We can turn the cooling air on and off, the combustion air on and off. We can enable the propane gas and by turning it on momentarily, and the burner head can raise and lower. If either one of the E-stops, I showed you the one E-stop, the E-stop on the other end of the machine is identical. If either E-stop is depressed, it stops the gas, it stops the conveyor. It does not stop the blowers. The blowers for cooling purge any gas that's left in there, and they keep everything else cool. So there you can see the burner heads. There's 4 burner heads, there's nozzles, and a flame comes out of each one of those. Our first attempt here is going to be on this rather large beam. That's about a 15 by 16 beam. It's about 11 feet long. It weighs about 900 pounds. So we're going to turn this over to Josh now. He's going to be the cameraman. And I'm going to start firing things up. So we start with the main power. When we turn the main power on, the variable frequency drives come on. The conveyor will turn it on. We have the forward and reverse. We're going to run it in reverse because we're going to run the log that way. We're going to turn the cooling air on. You can hear that blower come on. We're going to turn the combustion air on, and we're going to operate the propane